Hi there, welcome to another talk. And I think this will just be excuse me, one of them free-flowing talks where I don't have any particular subject I'm talking about, and when I'm doing that I start to go into this transcendental state where I'm channeling information. And how do I do that? Well, it's all to do with, you start learning to do that by, what happened to me was an unexpected spiritual awakening, and once I was going through it, I immediately was working with the heart space. I didn't know that at the time because my awakening was very traumatic, unexpected. But what happens is, in that awakening, you're starting to go with the heart, and in the heart is the key to tapping into, I call it the heaven self. You've got a version of you that lives on earth and a version of you that lives in heaven. Heaven is a realm, and everything is here, and every energy is within here. Buddha once said, "Be here now." And and that's how you access it. You access it by being here. My dad says to me last week, he says, "Oh, you can't access that because you wouldn't be here." No, there's only here. This is what Buddhism talks about all the time. So many people want to be away somewhere, but they don't realize they can only be here. Like people say, "Well, I want to die," like it's going to be better. You can only have your current awareness. As soon as you wake up in the morning, what level of awareness you are in that moment is you. That's the only thing you can have. But this idea of going somewhere else, this is what blocks our chakras. This is the thing. It's all about being in the present moment, being silencing the mind. The mind is wanting to go somewhere else. And this is how you enter this transcendental state. This is how you become meditation all the time. I says to my dad the other day, I says, spiritual awakening is a different league to a hypnotist. And it is. Because when you spiritually awaken, you enter this state where you're entering multiple levels of awareness at the same moment. Right? You've not done a course to do anything. It's a deep process within you, and it's your soul that is guiding you through the process. Some people call it oversoul. And that is the thing that is giving you the information. And you're interacting with hypnosis frequencies, meditative frequencies, transcendental frequencies, nothingness, sexual energies, and you're working with them all. And your soul is guiding you through it to coordinate them all perfectly, because once you're interacting with the life force, like the perfect life force that is the perfect consciousness, coordinates everything perfectly. So now you're following that within the present moment, and that's how you start to understand reality. You start to go in this process once you're present, but it's easier said than done. I say this all the time, yet I don't see anyone spiritually awakening. Right? That's because they don't mean it. When I had this awakening, I had depression till I was 28, a few years after the awakening. At 24, I sat down one day and I had a feeling of I've had enough, and that manifested the awakening. I meant it to be present that day. And I meant to wake up at that moment. And I realised from it that the awakening happened when we were meant to awaken. But like my dad saying the other day about hypnotists, it's that thing again where people want a quick road to ascension and awakening. There are no quick roads. If that was the case, why would all these wealthy people with money go all over the planet and try and go to conferences and Buddhist monasteries and spend loads of money because they know they have to spend the money to be near someone that's had a spiritual awakening to try and get that awakening. A hypnotist that's done a course isn't enough. Unless they've had a spiritual awakening first. But if they had a spiritual awakening, most of the time, they wouldn't want to be hypnosis. But you can do hypnosis without a course, right? All these powers that are made up, all of it is actually within you. Don't let the system make you think that you have to go on a course for anything. Because everything is created by somebody. Reiki frequencies, meditation frequency, transcendental frequency, hypnosis, all of which is within your heart center. You need no courses, nothing outside of you. All is within the heart space, as the HeartMath Institute says. The HeartMath Institute is based on science. Scientifically, they've proved that the heart center can heal the planet if we're in heart coherence. It can heal your entire body, because the heart energy is the strongest energy in your body. That is the doorway, like I say, because when you're working with the heart space, you're now interacting with the heaven realm. And heaven isn't the spirit world. You got the spirit world, but then the heaven is when you pass lots of tests. There's no guarantee when you die you'll get there. Some people just recycle back on Earth because the programming on Earth is to recycle you back here. They do a thing on Earth called trauma-based mind control. And that is when you program someone to make choices that is in accordance with the system. And so then you have a bunch of people living on Earth that will choose governments, they'll choose politics, they'll choose religion, everything that you want them to choose. And it's the elites at the top that control it all. Everything comes from the top. You look at society, everything comes from the top. That's why they like schools and universities and all this kind of stuff, to keep man asleep. I never done well. I was kicked out of school when I was 14. Yet I had a spiritual awakening. Right? Because I wasn't programmed by loads of outside information. You know, at the age of 24 when I had this awakening, I didn't have much knowledge. I read one book in my life, and it was a children's book when I was a kid. So not much programmed information or any information in me. And so I had this innocence thing about me. And that's, I think, a part of the spiritual awakening. Innocence plays a big part. It's all about opening up to whatever and realizing that you know nothing. Right? That you know nothing. And once you enter that idea that you know nothing, then you're opening up to infinite knowledge. This knowledge can come from anywhere. If you believe in beings, aliens, it can come from them. But the truth is that the aliens and separate things are actually you within the dream, because everything is nothingness, comes from nothing. Therefore, everything is nothing. It's just one awareness, one consciousness. That's what we are. And that's the realm that this planet has entered now. That's why people all over the planet have had spiritual awakenings. That's why that has happened. The people that aren't are still programmed because they're in this illusion of, I need a job, I need to do this, I need to do that. But you're not here for your 9-to-5 job. You are here to help the planet through its awakening process. When you die, you will have to go through life review. That is when a spiritual advisor on the other side goes over your life, and it's judged where you're going to go. What are you going to say that you done? I know what I'll say. I done great, right? I had a spiritual awakening, and I used my awakening to be an example. But most people aren't doing that. And if we don't do this, the system will get its way on planet Earth. And what they want is humans turning into sheeple / cyborgs that are programmed by artificial intelligence. That's what they want. That's why they want this vaccine and COVID. It's all they plan it all. Everything comes from the top. And these elite, the reason they call them elites is because the reptilians have a queen and they have an elite, right? And you can look this up as well. And that's why they're called the elites, because they're working for that force. I would just say it's demonic, not reptilian. But nevertheless, we have a part of our brain called the reptilian brain, and this is science. And that part is programmed. That's what the system targets, because the reptilian brain is the part of your brain that reacts through fear. And that's what we're seeing just now. The system is always trying to amplify that, because the demonic forces, or reptilians, feed off this fearful state. That's what they feed off of. And if you want to talk about demons, it's just energy. Everything comes from within us. We create it. So the solution is to go within yourself and heal ourselves through within the heart center, and then there's no demonic or reptilian forces there. Right? It starts from within you. Realize that the system doesn't care about you. The only way we can change this planet is if we spiritually awaken. We do that by going within the heart center and be present, and then we elevate the planet to the 5th dimension, and that's how we truly change the world. Because a world is an energy field. Doesn't matter what you call, my dad says to me the other day, he says, this is not a world. Well, that's what I say. I say it's just nothingness. But it doesn't matter what you label it, because that's not the problem. The problem is where the energy is on the planet. So we must ascend to the 5th dimension. That is the spiritual awakening dimension, which is just infinite love. And it starts by going within your heart center. Now, some people will do that and they won't get nothing. That's because you don't mean it. God only listens to authenticity. That's why people say they prayed, really meant it, and a miracle happened. So you've got to work on your authentic power within you. And that's why a lot of people that spiritually awaken were depressed beforehand, because that puts you in this authentic state where you want things to change. And the question is, how authentic are you? Because it's going to take authenticity for this planet to change for the current division state that it's in. Like Melania Trump says that what we need is oneness, and that is the spiritual awakening. That's what it's going to take. When you spiritually awaken, everything becomes oneness. It's not about me being better than you or me being spiritually awake. The reason I share this knowledge is so everyone can spiritually awaken. This spiritual awakening doesn't belong to me, it belongs to everybody. It's like the internet. The internet belongs to everybody, but a system would like you to think that it belongs to them with their censorship, but it belongs to everybody. And we've got to take our power back. We've got to realize that we are society, and what we say as a whole decides the outcome of this planet. We've got to think of the whole planet and not just ourselves, thinking of just your job. How is it for me? That's you in your head, your ego, but you've got to start thinking, be heart-based, and then you'll start thinking of the world. You'll start thinking of what is the best thing to do for the whole situation, for the planet, moving forward. But I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks like this, please do visit my website at www.lovelifefamily.com. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you.